Good morning, traders. This is Perry Wilkie with StartUpTrading.com. It is 5 minutes till 9 Eastern Time on Veterans Day, Monday, November 11th. So, looking back at Friday's session, uh, basically the NQ ran up and hit QQQ 512, double top there and went down at the same time. You had a little bit of divergence in the indexes with the ES making another higher high and nothing. That's just, not that that was a short, but that was the, high for the day at that point in time. So as we look back at what that did to structure now, we got a little bit of a split here on the Russell at 2406 half, and then some single prints on the Dow right around 44,040 up to 44,075. That's really all we had, change in structure or, markers to use for today. Of course, today will be a bank holiday. I haven't looked, but usually the bond market's either closed or closes early. Uh, so that means there's a little bit of a lack of liquidity. So usually we got a little bit smaller movement on these days. It doesn't mean that that's what it's going to have to be, but that is the norm for a U.S. bank holiday. And then if we look at what I like to do is look at where the big news is for the week. So Wednesday we have CPI. Thursday morning we have PPI and unemployment claims. And then Thursday afternoon at 3, we get to hear from Chair Powell, a conversation with the federal chair in Dallas, Texas. I'm sure that'll be thrilling. And then we have Friday retail sales, and that's really those are your big items. So you got Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are your big ticket items with all at 8:30 except for the Powell at Thursday at 3. Uh, as we look at that, so not a lot going on as we look at earnings. There are no huge players, right? There's some notables on here, but nothing that is I think Nvidia is next week, so nothing really doing there. If we look at positioning, of course, since we're at all-time highs, that is near the upper end of position. You can see a little bit of stuff going out in time here for the Qs. Remember, we topped out at 515 on Friday, and so we actually have room to go to 518 to 520 as a top for today if we, continue to go higher. Otherwise, probably just a check of 510 as we probably have a narrow trading day today. Looking at the SPY, we're currently trading just under $600 overnight, topped out at 601 exactly. So you can see between 600 and 603 is a massive pile for the calls today, and then coming back down. Uh, 598 I would think would be your support for the day. So we'll have to see, if that is indeed the case. I'll be looking for reactions if we get down there to see that it's probably just a swing low for today. Looking at the cash market, 6,000 is a pretty big pin. We closed at 590, 550 on Friday. We're up around 17 points. So that would make us right around 6,012 on the cash market if we were to open up right now, and we can see that so basically you could slide back into the 600 and check it, and then that should be your draw, your magnet, your floor. Potentially, it's definitely going to be a little bit of a pivot point. And it's something that could be visited several times in a low liquidity, no news type of day that is on deck for us. As we look at, we haven't, as we have this impulse move up, right, with the elections last night coming into Jack setup. Uh, and then remember, I said that, uh, as far as profile goes, you have anytime that you go around, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, about 15, 16 days here. You had the 3-day down. Uh, with a notable bottom right there, and we were marking off this 57.25 on the one time frame screen that we'll look at before, that was the floor, that the floodgates open up if you get below that. So you come right to the edge of the abyss. I think we went under it by a tick or two, maybe three, I can't remember. And then that was also it, coming back up to the top side. So now that we're above 59.27, let's just call it 59.25 for the sake of argument. Uh, this is, you need new buyers to come into the market to keep it up. So we've been, this is our look on, election day, the day after, and then you've got 1, 2, 3 day or 2 days following through, and this will be the third day. So keep in mind, you could come all the way back and check down to basically this point of control or right around it, 59.95.75, and still be bullish for today, and still be bullish in character as you're far above this. And you could probably, I'm sure Jekyll be watching, and he'll let us know what is the best one to look at. But I'm sure there's a high to high in here as well that'll probably line up with right around that high to high draw, and then see if we get into these. You can see that there will be on the daily chart some single prints between the high of the session on the 5th, or I'm sorry, the 6th, to the low of the session on the 8th. So looking at the one time framing, keep in mind that the futures, because they are different than the indexes, right? This all-time high for the futures for the Nasdaq was sitting here at 21,238 basically, and we're still holding above that. So the and honest, the NQ is actually just now getting its look above the all-time high on this futures contract, right? That it topped out on July 11th. So we'll see if that look holds or not. I would expect the next 2 days to be at least Monday and Tuesday, today and tomorrow, to be consolidation and probably digestion, and sitting here going sideways within a range. So I would expect 21,165 to be the floor, and we could continue to trade up a little bit, and we'll just have to see where the upper limit is, other than where the positioning is. And it doesn't mean it's a short, like Jack says. It just means that people will be taking profits, right? You're up here, you're getting a little bit narrow in range potentially, but keep in mind you had 1, 2, 3 range expansion days to the upside. You had that basically doji on Friday for the Nasdaq, and small range for the ES. And you could go back to potentially range expansion, even though that's not what I'm looking for. You have to be aware that that is on the table. And anytime that you have such a massive move to the upside, when we do break a previous day's low, it should be a one and done, right? So if you get a retracement day, if today ends up, or one of the days this week ends up being a selling day, and you take out a previous day's low, or take out a 2 day low, going back 2 days, that should be a buy going into the next session. So overnight action, 24 points on the ES. We are holding above Friday's bell high for the ES right now. If we look at all of the indexes, you can see the Russell is sitting here at a previous split at 24.47, and the rest of the indexes are basically the Nasdaq. I'm sorry, the Dow and the ES are holding above Friday's high. So we'll have to see. Potentially you could get a little bit early morning recheck, right, of that pop and drop back down towards the settlement and unchanged. But keep in mind, the settlement is inside of value, so you could get uh, a stall at value area high. So that would be at 60.31 for the ES. That would be at 44,190 basically for the Dow. And for the NASDAQ, it would be basically a fill and a gap fill hitting value area high because it's right there. Uh, and then for the Russell, I think that if you get a gap fill on it, it's a little bit structurally that we'll have to watch. And for all these indexes, it's a little bit more clear on the Russell. But if we do get the gap fill, we have to see if uh, potentially 2430 is resistance for the Nasdaq. That resistance could potentially come in at 21 276 as if you do get the gap fill. For the ES, that resistance would be right around 36. So from 31 to 36, be a pretty quick tell if you can't get back over there within 90 minutes or something. And then for the Dow, you're looking at resistance probably right around 44 215. So I hope this helps. Stay nimble today, and it'll probably be like I said, low liquidity. Look at Jack's time cycles. I wouldn't think that you're going to get to string more than two time cycles in any direction on an impulse move. Uh, and we'll see if what type of digestion we get tomorrow with the banks being open, the bonds being more active. We should open up for a little bit more positioning going into the real news events that are, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of this week. I hope this helps you guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.